So I'm here with Clive Moody, he's the executive producer on Grid 2. So you guys have announced two things here at the Expo today. First, let's talk about LiveRoutes, because that sounds mad.
LiveRoutes is really interesting, and it's a completely new way of approaching and playing racing games. What it is, basically at its heart, is a means where we can, in real time, dynamically change the routes that you're driving on the circuit. And we can see uses for this in an absolute myriad of ways, but the unpredictability that it's going to produce and introduce into racing games is really interesting. And actually we see this as having a real advantage over perhaps open worlds as well. What's at the core of racing is trying to keep that packed together so it feels tight and exciting. Open world, you tend to get split routes, so cars go off, you lose some of that drama that goes with it. With LiveRoutes, we always keep that packed together because the route's changing, but everybody's on that same route all of the time. So it's very, very interesting.
And it's important to clear up for the guys who have just filled their shorts that this is an opt-in, right? You don't have to run LiveRoutes during the game.
No, you absolutely don't. We have certain game modes that will use it, but obviously for those that want it, traditional circuits, it's still there. You just drive the route, you learn the track. But LiveRoutes is there for those guys that want that additional level of excitement and unpredictability.
And how's that going to work online? Because you've got it working over Xbox Live as well.
Yeah, we absolutely have, and there's a number of ways we can use it. Actually, what's really interesting about it is you can actually think about it as an infinite point-to-point. So if you want to go online and do an endurance race, but always have that fresh challenge, then switch on LiveRoutes, and you know that the circuit's always going to be changing and modifying. Alternatively, switch on LiveRoutes, but have it just give you a certain number of laps, either changing on every single lap, or maybe actually just changing on the last lap, so it mixes it up right at the end.
I mean, you've mentioned point-to-point stuff. I mean, is this technology that you have working in your point-to-point races as well? Because I could see it working really well in there as well.
Yeah, point-to-point's an interesting one, and actually right now we haven't put LiveRoutes into point-to-point. LiveRoutes has been built around our city circuits, our street circuits, because we think that's the place where it works absolutely best. So point-to-points, our road races, and actually the traditional motorsport circuits as well, they won't be supported by the LiveRoutes system.
Fair enough. And how difficult was it to sort of implement this stuff technologically?
Actually, a lot of the skill that comes in how we put together our level designs, the technological point of view. Yeah, sure, there's some challenges there, but actually making sure that our cities had the road networks that let us create all of these millions basically of combinations is where the real skill comes in. Testament really to our level design teams and all the work they do, going out to locations, doing the research, taking all the photography, coming back and creating really interesting roads and circuits from that information.
And your other big announcement is the inclusion of the Red Bull ring, formerly known as the A1 ring. It's an old Formula 1 circuit, but it's not been used for a while. What was the thinking behind the inclusion of that track in particular?
Actually, it's just a really, really awesome track, and I think massively underused. You don't see it in racing games very often. It's a really good fun circuit. There's some fantastically fast straight sections on it, some beautiful sweeping corners and combinations, and a really demon hard hairpin in there as well. So it's a lot of fun putting track cars on there like the BAC Mono, KTM Crossbow. Yeah, it's a fantastic experience, and actually just one of many fully licensed international circuits that will be in the final game.